If you look at a map of Tokyo, Nezu looks like it should be a pretty loud place. It sits directly next to Ueno and the University of Tokyo, right in the thick of the city, but the moment you step out of the station, the contrast becomes very clear. This is one of the few pockets of Tokyo that still retain aspects of its historic Shitomachi layout. It's an area where century-old wooden architecture sits right next to new construction apartments with an abundance of coffee shops sprinkled in. Today, we're breaking down Nezu to see if this quiet, historic pocket is actually a practical place to live, or if it's better left as a weekend destination. We have the usual 4 scoring categories and the various tier levels, so we know exactly what to look for. Before diving in, if you're interested in content about living in Japan or becoming financially independent, then I would encourage you to join our Discord of like-minded people. I'd also appreciate it if you could like, comment, and subscribe, since it really helps grow both the channel and the community. Stick around until the end to see what neighborhood we'll be covering next time. With that said, let's pay our respects at Nezu Shrine and start to analyze this neighborhood. First up is public transportation. Nezu relies entirely on a single train line, the Tokyo Metro Chiyoda Line. If your daily life and interests route directly through central Tokyo, it'll get the job done. You will get a direct, single train shot to major business and entertainment districts like Otomochi, Hibiya, and Omotesando, while also offering plenty of opportunities to transfer to other train lines as needed. I've mentioned before that I tend to prefer JR train lines, but if I had to pick a metro line, the Chiyoda Line is one of the better options in my opinion. Having just one line is very typical for many areas in Tokyo, but it comes with a small risk. If the Chiyoda Line experiences a delay or shuts down, you'll be kind of stuck there. Your immediate backup options require a 10 to 15 minute walk completely outside the neighborhood to hit the Yamanote Line at Nippori, or maybe head south towards Ueno. On a rainy day or during a morning rush hour delay, that walk is a major inconvenience. Nezu Station is functional for basic commuting, but it completely lacks the multi-line safety net of a true transit hub. But I can't say this is particularly bad. At the very worst, it is average for Tokyo, so I would say that in terms of public transportation, Nezu will get a 3 out of 5. Neighborhood character is where Nezu gets interesting. It has a distinct old-world charm. Walking around these narrow side streets, it doesn't even feel like you're in central Tokyo anymore. The main streets are packed with independent coffee shops, minimalist cafes, and private businesses tucked neatly into older, renovated structures. To a degree, it feels like you've traveled back in time to a calmer era without the constant rush of salarymen or industry around you. There is certainly a suburban atmosphere in the air, and most of the residents will be local Japanese families that have lived there for decades. This slice of vintage suburbia does mean that you don't have much in the way of nightlife or any other distinctive landmarks, besides the obvious. The undisputed centerpiece of the area is Nezu Shrine. It's undeniably beautiful, featuring a hillside path of vermilion torii gates akin to the famous Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto, but at a much smaller scale. If you visit during peak spring season, you can pay a small fee to enter the enclosed gardens and see the famous azalea flowers in full bloom. The shrine has become pretty famous in recent years, and the azaleas attract a huge number of visitors in the spring. In the off-season, while still popular, it is a much calmer space that you can enjoy at your own leisure. You'll definitely feel the age of the area as a whole, and it's certainly not a hidden secret. You will be seeing a surprising number of tourists walking through the narrow residential streets just to see the shrine, which can break the quiet immersion of the area a little bit. If I could describe Nezu in one word, it would be peaceful though. If you like to avoid the bustle of huge crowds while enjoying a bit of a spiritual escape into Tokyo's past, then Nezu would be a great option for you. Personally, I feel like I might get a little bit bored after a few months here, but I can't deny that it has a very unique character within the city itself. That uniqueness counts for a lot in my book, so I'll be giving it a 4 out of 5 for neighborhood character. For daily livability, Nezu again runs as a textbook average neighborhood for me. The housing availability is a mix of old and new apartment buildings, meaning you have choices, but you'll have to look closely at the age of the structure before moving in. If you're into the old school aesthetic, then this could be a good chance to grab a vintage building in the center of the city, but it does look like it is slowly shifting to newer buildings over time. It's worth calling out that I didn't see any monthly mansions available on the websites I typically use. I do see listings for normal apartments in this area, and they seem to run the usual gamut of prices for small properties in central Tokyo, maybe on the slightly lower side, but again, these are normal rentals and not furnished short-term apartments like I usually show off on this channel. If you can't secure a standard rental contract, you will likely need to look outside of Nezu. But if you are able to secure a property here, it remains an exceptionally quiet, low-traffic place to come home to every night. The downside is that Nezu itself doesn't offer much variety beyond your basic grocery store and standard convenience stores. While you are physically close to a massive commercial hub like Ueno, if you need major retail department stores or electronics, Nezu itself is thin on that utility. You will consistently find yourself leaving the borders of the neighborhood for a lot of everyday errands, shopping, and potentially dining if you have a more restrictive diet. Thankfully, Ueno is less than 20 minutes away, but it is a shame that everything you need cannot be found within the borders of Nezu itself. There are plenty of charming little cafes and restaurants, but if you need electronics, or even clothing, Nezu just won't cut it by itself. It's peaceful, but it forces a lot of outside travel for basic lifestyle needs. However, this is once again typical of a standard residential neighborhood in Tokyo, so going with that idea, it's again a 3 out of 5 for livability. You might expect a decent amount of English given the steady stream of shrine visitors, but most local restaurants and shops don't advertise any English at all if you look. In fact, you see much less English here than you do in a lot of other central Tokyo neighborhoods. You can definitely find it in some spots, but I would advise you not to expect it. Because the neighborhood really only has the shrine to attract outside visitors, local businesses don't need to adapt or handle English to get by on the day-to-day. You'll run into a few foreign-centered businesses and cafes where English is available, and some younger staff members will know a bit of the language, but I don't expect to be able to speak English to most people in the neighborhood. Even when I visited the shrine during peak flower blooming season, the ticket-taking staff only knew enough English to sell me a ticket to enter. Obviously, the train station features English signage, as is standard, but if you want an environment to really test your Japanese ability, Nezu might prove to be a good option because English isn't a bit of a short supply here, but you can still fall back to Ueno if you need the support. It is actually somewhat funny since Ueno is so close by and offers plenty of English, but here in Nezu, if you don't know basic Japanese, daily interactions at the local grocer or cleaner might be a bit of a hurdle. It almost feels a tad less English friendly than average in Tokyo, but the presence of the shrine as a tourist attraction does help recover the score a little bit, so I will be giving it a standard 3 out of 5 for English friendliness. Bringing it all together, Nezu earns a final total score of 13 out of 20. On our definitive Tokyo neighborhood tier list, that lands Nezu at the very top of the C tier. It functions as a solid, comfortable baseline neighborhood, very similar to Hatagaya in fact. It gives you great old-world aesthetics, trendy cafes, and quiet streets, but the single-line transit and the lack of internal retail means you trade away a lot of modern convenience just to live there. It's a nice place to live, but you will need to leave it quite frequently to supplement your week-to-week life in Japan. The highlight for me, and most visitors, will be the shrine, so if you are a big fan of shrines, then you might see it as a more valuable residence. But to me, I see it as a pretty typical Tokyo neighborhood that I like to visit every once in a while. Let me know in the comments if you think that peaceful retro vibe should push it higher into the B tier. As always, thanks for watching. Before revealing the next neighborhood, I have a couple announcements to make. Those who follow the channel might know that I've been trying to monetize it for a couple months, but I am unable to get it approved for some reason unknown to me. I think it is just time to lean into it, so for the foreseeable future I will not have any YouTube ads playing before my videos, at least by my choice. YouTube may add them, but I won't be benefiting from it. I also cannot enable channel donations or memberships. Instead, if you find any of the information in my videos helpful and would like to support the channel, I am working on a couple of options. First, per suggestion in our Discord, I've created a Ko-fi account. It is set up to accept donations and it should give you a specific role in our Discord. I would greatly appreciate it if you can donate anything, as it might allow me to make videos outside of Tokyo. Second, I have decided to open a Patreon account. For now, I do not wish to paywall any content, but in the future I may place more niche videos there. Until that point, however, I will be offering a few tiers that allow you to financially support the channel. Since I'm hesitant to permanently paywall content, I can't offer too much beyond including your names in the videos or shouting you out at the end of a video. But starting today, I will be putting all future videos behind the Patreon for 1 week. If you would like to see the video early, then I would greatly appreciate a Patreon subscription. But if you just wait a week, then you will find the video on YouTube as usual. In fact, as this video premieres, there should already be a video on Patreon that will become available on YouTube in 1 week. I'm hoping that this will help alleviate some of the expenses I accrue from making these videos, such as the price of the editing software or train tickets. If you can't spare any cash, then no worries. I still love that you choose to watch my videos, and I hope to see you in the next one. Even just watching, liking, and subscribing is a huge show of support for me. It would also be awesome to see even more people join the free Discord server as well. Anyway, let's see where we will be going next time. I may move neighborhood voting to a poll on the Patron in the future, but for now, we will be sticking to the wheel. The next review video in Tokyo will be about Ueno. Well, that's just next to Nezu, so that's a funny coincidence actually. Alright, thank you again for watching, and please comment your thoughts on Nezu. I'll see you next time.